Have you ever dreamt of this man? He's visited me in my sleep every night for years. And I think I'm not alone. I approximately described him to some trusted confidants, and was met with nervous reactions. Sweat on the brow, dilated pupils, shaking, palpable panic. Most quickly changed the topic, and refused to elaborate. One person, after urging them, relented and quietly uttered a name, Geoff Keighley. I set out to do a little research, typing the name into Yahoo image search, and once again I saw his face, sending a shiver down my spine. Oddly, a different name was attributed to him. Geoff Keighley. Maybe my friend was mistaken in the pronunciation. This was certainly the man who has been haunting me. Delving into this rabbit hole, what I found shocked me, and the world needs to know what I've learned. Keighley is a Canadian national who, over the last couple decades, has slowly risen to a position of prominence in the world of video games. He's written articles about and reported on the games industry, and interviewed high-profile developers and hosted many presentations and shows, like Gamescom Opening Night Live and Summer Games Fest. Most notably, he produces and hosts the Game Awards, an awards ceremony in the vein of the Oscars or Emmys, but for video games. We can't escape Geoff. E3 died, and this man was spotted red-handed, holding a knife, smiling, and now nearly every major video game presentation is hosted by him, save of course those presented directly by publishers, like Nintendo Direct. These are just vehicles for trailers, really. Even with the Game Awards, the awards show part of it feels secondary or even tertiary. Primarily, it's about the epic video game trailers. And maybe secondarily, it's about running bits like The Muppets talking about video games, or Geoff fawning and smiling lovingly at Hideo Kojima. Then there's also awards, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Huh? There's Kojima, look! Ooh. Did you know that Geoff Keighley's friends with him?
Yeah, but does Kojima know that?
Yeah. So, there's this social media platform called X, the Everything app. It's hosted on www.twitter.com. This place has everything on it. Something I came across is this community of gamers who are largely unemployed and endlessly argue about their digital toys like it's the most important thing in the world. If your algorithm is tapped into video game discourse, it's absolutely hellish in the weeks leading up to the Game Awards. To many in this community, this man is gaming's public enemy number one. It seems that every year, the same takes are parroted about how some games are nominated for the wrong categories, some are snubbed, some are miscategorized as indie, and more. It's a blessing if you're completely disconnected from these presentations. Maybe you're completely detached from all of this and I sound insane, rambling about this nonsense. Maybe you don't even know what a video game is. I hardly know. Hell, I just learned how to use Yahoo search to find out about this Geoff Keighley guy. This is what I've come to understand from my research. Apparently, Geoff Keighley is a sycophant, servile to corporate interests of slop-churning machines operated by gaming's biggest publishers, facilitating the engine of hype that overpromises shiny, groundbreaking games, only to underdeliver unambitious, joylessly developed, serialized products, marketable on a yearly basis despite never innovating, setting back the idea of video games as an art form by decades. And yet, regurgitating this secondhand opinion now, I feel dissatisfied. Focusing so much of my attention on Geoff has led me to think that there must be more to this story. He stands as the lightning rod for criticism, and we need to delve more deeply into why that is, and what dark, sinister machinations hide behind those soulless, brand-friendly eyes. Satoru Iwata, Reggie Fils-Aimé, Shigeru Miyamoto, Masahiro Sakurai, Todd Howard, Gabe Newell, Jeff Kaplan, Phil Spencer, Hideo Kojima, Geoff Keighley. These people all exemplify how gamers often grow attached to legendary figures, subjects of funny internet memes, venerated and loved, or maybe just people we collectively love to hate. It can't be overstated enough how monumental a feat game development is, so it's weird to direct either praise or criticism for a game or development studio to just a single person, but it seems to happen all the time. Smash Ultimate didn't get the DLC character I wanted, so Sakurai must be a creatively and morally bankrupt demon who specifically decided to piss me off. Granted, I've been exposed to a niche corner of the internet where rabid gamer rage has infected the minds of many lost souls. So, those sort of extreme opinions are stuck lingering in the back of my mind forever. More often than hate is spewed for some of these figures, in a less vocal majority, there are those who like these talking heads. After all, they're front-facing because they're charismatic and know how to appeal to the core audience of their games. Is Geoff Keighley at all truly deserving of real hate or any amount of love? As the face of the Game Awards, he bears the brunt of negative opinions for that show. Let's go through some perceived transgressions. In 2022, Al Pacino handed Christopher Judge the award for Best Performance, and the voice actor for Kratos proceeded to give an 8-minute acceptance speech. Next year, this image went viral, alongside commentary about how the speeches this year were disrespectfully short. This also ties into the distaste for the show's commercial focus. To fund it all, time needs to be allocated not just for trailers, but also for specific devs and publisher representatives to come onto the stage promoting a new game, taking focus away from the conceit of an awards ceremony that should be taking the time to celebrate its award winners. Also, people have doubts about the fairness and legitimacy of the nomination and voting processes. There are no assurances that the jury actually deliberates or discusses which games deserve which awards. Some reports seem to basically boil it down to more of a popularity contest instead of an in-depth analysis of the qualities of games. Other people insist that the Game Awards is a shillfest pushing the Sony agenda, and that's why Hideo Kojima is regularly spotlighted, and why Astrobot won Game of the Year in 2024. In either case, basically, the awards increasingly have been interpreted as pretty unserious, which is a shame because despite any bias or lack of deliberation, it is the most viewed video games award show, which in and of itself gives it some legitimacy. Which brings me to another thing. Dissidents believe, probably fairly, that such a popular show about video games should bring attention to abuse and layoffs and anti-unionization in the industry, stories of which have been cropping up a lot in the past couple years. Instead of commentary on those issues, we get more epic video game trailers. Oh, and also, last thing. Geoff Keighley is a Nepo baby, heir to the IMAX fortune. His parents were chief quality gurus, long-standing executive employees at IMAX. How disgusting! He's not even real and gritty and from the streets like me. So, considering all this, does Geoff deserve the hate? Surely there are more people and systems to blame behind the scenes for all of this, except for the Nepo baby thing. That is his fault, and it is disgusting. There are some things that make Geoff very different from other figurehead type people that surround gaming culture. On an opposite end of the spectrum, Sakurai, for example, is generally treated with more grace and respect because he's meaningfully involved with the actual material creation of games. Then there are people like Phil Spencer, who is not a game developer, but just a business executive. So he's more likely to be made fun of whenever he's spewing marketing jargon about how successful Xbox has been in the past year, and how in the coming year they're going to evolve the brand and connect with their players and create immersive worlds and blah blah blah. Then there's Geoff. Not a dev, not a business guy, just a journalist. But it's more accurate to say he was a journalist. And now he's just trying to fund his shows and mainline trailers down into your gullet 3 times a year. He's really just the perfect archetypal consumerist AAA gamer who buys Doritos and Mountain Dew to get extra XP and soy jack at ray tracing and volumetric lighting type shit.
If you were to be stranded on an island and you could pick between eating only Doritos or drinking only Mountain Dew, what would you pick?
I'd probably go with Mountain Dew. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
This is the hype machine that keeps the big publishers churning out the potato chip equivalent of video games enabled by gamers like Geoff. Okay, I'm slipping back into my ex-gamer discourse regurgitation again. I'm sorry. But genuinely, the issue at hand is bigger than Geoff. We need to get into the twisted minds of gamers to explore the origin and effects of hype surrounding video games.
My life is like a video game, trying hard to beat the stage, all while I am still collecting coins. Trying hard to save the girl.
Truth is, and I really hate to admit it, but I am a gamer, and I participate in hype, like many gamers. I have fond memories of watching E3 live every year while growing up, and sharing my excitement for upcoming games with my friends and brothers. The Skyrim trailer played on repeat in my brain for months, and watching it still gives me chills because I'm a fucking dork loser. And I don't think that gaming has gone downhill either. Another opinion often repeated by terminally online sludge people who engage in arguments about video games. So, I don't want to come across as such a disillusioned unk that I can't enjoy things anymore. You know, I'll just come out and say it. Trailers are kind of cool sometimes. Crucify me. What's changed, I think, is that gaming has gotten so freaking gigantic. And there's so much money involved now, and there's a bunch of normie tourists in my once relatively niche hobby. Okay, I keep slipping into irony, I have to just be genuine for a bit. Listen, I know about Google. I didn't find out about Geoff Keighley from Yahoo Image Search, and I am terminally online, and I call it Twitter, not X the Everything app, because I'm a cool ass fucking old head. So here's my stupid fucking thesis or whatever. We paid too much attention to Geoff. He's an easy scapegoat for frustrations about how indie games are underrepresented in mainstream gaming spaces, how games aren't seen as an art form, and how there's this huge disconnect between the type of person that considers the bigger picture of context behind their favorite games and just the average Joe who consumes games as disposable products and moves on. Thoughts about crazy ideas like unionization of developers never crossing their minds. Don't get it twisted. The latter is the core audience for the Game Awards, and if you fall into the former category and something like Dave the Diver being nominated for Best Indie bothers you, then you should accept that the show will never be catered to your interests. Also, you're vastly outnumbered by the people who just don't give a shit about any of this. I don't think we should be apathetic. It's okay to care. Just direct it productively. Protest the Game Awards by not watching it, and realize complaining about it actually contributes to its increasing relevance. It's really strange how this ritual of pageantry and showmanship while showing off commercials for video games has become so commonplace, to an extent where there's this accepted willful extreme consumerism attached to the video game medium.
But I have one more thing to announce. Coming this year, Peggle 2!
The cycle of hype is never going to go away, so we might as well enjoy it in those moments where it's somewhat enjoyable. Maybe I'm a disgusting fence rider, at least in this specific instance, because I do care about the issues that I've mentioned in this video, but I will be watching, this year and every year, maybe out of some morbid curiosity. Mostly, I'm just chasing the thrill of seeing something like the Bill Clinton kid walking on stage happen again.
I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
I'll always assert that there are so many amazing indie games out there that don't get their deserved recognition. And I'll mention it one last time. The unionization of developers in big studios is very important. Rockstar recently fired a bunch of employees to stop the formation of a union, and GTA 6 will still make billions of dollars. Biblically greedy publishers like that and gaming news outlets that perpetuate the success of those publishers to preserve relationships, that's the heart of darkness, the real dark underbelly of the gaming industry that needs to be talked about. Much more than little old Geoff Keighley, who I hypocritically just made a whole video about. Fuck. Okay, bye.
break from the ads? If you tap now to watch a short video, you'll receive 30 minutes of ad-free music.